without encroaching too heavily on his cause. That's like, let's run him as a support.
I think it's more so what Escape wants to go for, because they have been winning a lot of games off the back of the Lone Druid and the Tinker. And Alliance failed the first time versus the Lone Druid, and Escape won the other game with they won with Lone Druid and they lost with Tinker, so maybe they'll go back for the Lone Druid again in the first phase. I would expect it to be banned out in the second phase if it's not taken now.
They're picking this Timbersaw up fairly early again, like when Escape's left 4 more heroes to grab.
Remaining.
So Escape have time to work out also how they want to counter like the Timbersaw or so.
5 seconds remaining.
I think Invoker is also another consideration for them.
Reserve time.
Interested to see if they would actually ban it in the second phase.
There's still Void available too.
There's the Druid. They're gonna stick with it.
Yep. Alliance have yet to show that they can effectively handle the Lone Druid. It always seems to get his Radiance 14 and 16 minutes, and then proceed to crush the game.
Interested to see if they let the Slaughter go through Escape. Radiant Slaughter is not so preferred, but it's still really good against the bear if you get the amplification up.
That's what they had last time though, and it didn't work for them, so I think they'll have to go a different way. They could actually go back to their Brewmaster. Brewmaster was one of the older counters to Lone Druid.
Or you just keep the bear up in the air the entire time, yeah?
Yeah, Drunken Haze is also really good versus it. I think also the Cyclone dispels Rabid, which is pretty useful.
Dire team ban.
Tidehunter ban again. Is that 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4?
I'm not sure. It's usually banned out in the second phase though. I think Alliance would be more scared of Escape getting the Slardar though, because they have Dazzle and they're Dire and they have Lone Druid.
Yeah, that's like a free ticket to Roshan right there if you want it. Not to mention the ability to run a really strong offlane if they wish to as well, which Escape haven't been that wary of like backing away from. Like especially when they're the only team which I've seen picking up on dying so far. They like to. Actually get up in the face of that safe laner.
I don't know if Escape want to go for Slaughter though, because of Timbersaw is really good versus him if they're taking fights outside of base, and if they're fighting in base or sieging high ground, Slaughter is not useful versus towers.
So we find another hero that can combo with the Dazzle. Is it Huskar time? Not I guess.
Arrow does play Huskar though.
He does. I'm just thinking like what other heroes? Okay, Terrorblade wouldn't have been a bad choice. Arrow would have been completely fine on that hero.
I think they could have just done S4 Zeus in that scenario though, had they picked Terrorblade and Lone Druid. But Zeus is very good versus both of them.
10 seconds
The only-
remaining.
Yeah.
5 seconds
The
remaining.
only reason why I'm, I sort of have a question in my mind is because I'm thinking the Timber's still going towards the mid lane.
Reserve
So you get
time.
Timber versus Lone Druid instead of putting in the Admiral Bulldog hands.
With the they have the potential to aggro though, so maybe they can do Timbersaw safe lane. Actually, Bulldog got a lot of farm either way, off lane or safe lane. So
Yeah.
I don't really think they're worried about where the Timbersaw goes.
True, and are you even really that concerned when the Timbersaw's up against Dazzle? Like, the Dazzle's not going to zone the Timbersaw out. Like, the secondary support would have to do that. And it'd have to be something more like a Disruptor or something that's able to initiate. So Faceless Void goes into the hands of Alliance. So they got both Void and Timbersaw together. And now looking for the +1. So that kind of scratches the whole idea of Timbersaw's a mid. Because S4's going to be wanting to find some level of burst damage to enter that Chronosphere.
10 seconds remaining.
Timbersaw's good burst during Chrono. Chakram's pretty good. But I think
5
this
seconds
also,
remaining.
because they didn't have enough bans to deal with Invoker as well, and Faceless Void is very good versus Invoker. It also takes away like the Faceless Void Invoker combo from Escape. So I actually really like this Faceless Void pickup. It's also very good versus Timbersaw. And just highly limiting his damage output with a time dilation.
How many heroes has Synderen actually played this competition?
Dazzle, Wyvern, Venge, and he has played Undying. So I think
4 heroes in total?
that's mostly what I've seen coming out from him. I could have missed a couple, but those seem to be the main 4.
Technically, he's having a bigger rotation than when No Diggity first started, because then it was Bane and Witch Doctor and VS. That was it. That were the only heroes he was playing before.
Yep, I'm having to go really far back to find a different hero. I think they have played Oracle, it looks like one time, but no surprise they have lost that. And in their last, I think, 20 games, that's the only hero he's played aside from those four.
I'll stick to what you know. Especially if everyone keeps letting you have it and it works. So Escape, third hero now, you're up against a Void and a Timber, and they are actually going to go for the dire side Slaughter.
Yeah, it was really strong. It's really strong in their lineup.
If you're Alliance now, is it worthwhile getting something like an ET, just so you can at least cause some issues when Escape go into the pit? You still got some level of synergy with what you're running.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, but they've shown not to really like the ET that much.
5
Also,
seconds
EGM's the
remaining.
ET player, as well as the Rubik player. So I don't think they'll go for it, even though it has great synergy with the Faceless Void.
Dire team
So
pick.
an older counter to the minus armor. It's also very good versus Lone Druid. I actually expected them to pick it up in the other Lone Druid game, but this time the Lich, it can really slow down the Radiance from Lone Druid, or really slow down the Blink of the Slardar, both of which are very
10
important
seconds
items.
remaining.
And yeah, the plus armor, excellent versus Lone
5
Druid. The bear has a
seconds
hard
remaining.
time sticking onto a target without a root. And also very good
Reserve
damage
time.
during Faceless Void Chrono.
Yeah, that old school combo. Don't have to go back too far for that one. It's a couple of years. Escape. Okay, so second support, you know you're gonna have a hard time with the Lich in the lane. He's gonna be sacrificing a lot. Do you actually think about getting away with a jungler here?
I think so. I don't think their lanes are particularly strong. Like Timbersol is okay.
Necro's back
Turn to
again,
ban.
Necropos.
which technically could mean the lanes. Like, if you run a jungler, you don't want to leave the Necro by himself. If this is like a Lich Void off lane or a Lich Timber off lane,
10 seconds remaining.
with a Rubik Face Void safe and
5 seconds
then
remaining.
another mid.
And it seems to be one of their more favored heroes against the Timbersol.
Reserve
They
time.
picked it up in the group stage versus Team Empire. And that was also versus Morphling, though. I also think Necropos is really good versus Morph. But nice amount of magic damage to help deal with the Timbersol. Also with the Veil makes Lone Druid to do a lot more damage and not have to rely on bursting through that Frost armor.
So are you still thinking about the support, as in like being in a jungle role? Or would you prefer to have someone that's able to keep up, someone like a Lion or a VS would have been good up against a
Dire
Faceless
team
Void?
ban.
Yeah, the one big downside by Necropos is he needs a lot of help generally. Like even if he's free farming a lane, generally a mech isn't enough to save a Necropos because he's that high of
10
a
seconds
priority
remaining.
in the team fights. The longer he lives, he just heals up everyone and the Heartstopper
So you
aura.
just bring in a Hand of God.
Remaining.
Yeah, as if they play Chen.
Hey, Synderen always loved playing his jungle heroes.
Reserve
Yeah, but
time.
not so much recently.
That's also good. It's like just playing any jungle style heroes always seems to be followed by a bounty or a Ricky or someone like an ET invading your jungle and never having any
10
space to move.
seconds remaining.
Yep, but it's just not their style. Synderen plays sixth position generally.
Dire
Well,
team
they banned the Lashrak and a Kunkka. Will be the last hero
Turn
up
to
here
pick.
for Escape, and they're gonna give a crack at the Kunkka and the Necro together. This is
Didn't someone run this?
it was ESL draft, right? ESL 1?
Was it Necro Kunkka? I don't think it was Necro Kunkka.
10
I think it was just
seconds
Kunkka.
remaining.
There's a whole bunch of Kunkkas, but
5 seconds remaining.
I'm pretty sure Kunkka has been run a few times in the qualifiers thus far.
Reserve time.
have a dig, see what you find.
Yeah, I'll keep looking.
For now, Alliance need to get their last hero, so one final core should then tell us how the laning phase is going to go down, and it's going to be a Weaver as their final one. Alliance does it just marks the time. Necro can hold the Weaver in position. It's a Bulldog Weaver too. So Lodo will take up the Faceless Void. That puts S4 onto the Timbersaw.
Oh, Weaver's a pretty pick here. It's not good versus Slardar, and he's gonna have a lot of trouble bursting people down versus Kunkka. Also, the X is very good at dealing with a Weaver.
They seem to have a lot of lockdown against it. Like, this isn't like the last game where, like, hey, like we was 5th banned out. You're like, there's not that much control from the supports.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, there's a lot to work with.
So we've seen Kunkka run a few times in the Chinese region. We see
10
Vici
seconds
Reborn
remaining.
is played by FY. Not exactly
5
sure what was there to
seconds
counter.
remaining.
I've seen it kind of used to counter Faceless Void. You just boat inside the chrono, and it's be good. A substitute for Vengeful Spirit if you don't have a good save. It was also used by E-Home, played by Lum,
Prepare
as the
for
defensive
battle.
support to aid Old Chicken on the deathbed. Alright, prediction
Yep, so-
time.
Okay. There's a smoke from RK so early on that he actually just scouted out the position the ward the Yapsor placed down, and then can go over and place his own straight after, and he'll de-ward that one up on the top. So... Okay, well, until he then does his sentry ward, so Yapsor should know about that one too. So yeah, prediction time, number of towers 425.
I had a 6 through 10. 6 through 10, I picked.
425. Yeah, that makes sense with the lone druid on the field. I'm for that. When will first blood happen? This is a very passive laning phase.
Yeah, I'm thinking between 6 through 9 or 9
seconds
plus.
to battle.
With the Conquer, I'm all for 6 to 9. I think 6 through 9 is going to be great.
Okay.
Which team will win?
Mm,
No, looking at the Alliance draft, I like it, but I think Escape actually has more strength, so I'm going to go with him.
yeah, I'll just go with Escape.
Amount denies, 15 denies.
Lone Druid. Lone Druid.
Lone Druid, I'm actually going to go with Loda.
The battle
Loda doesn't
begins.
deny, man. I picked him last time. He had a pretty farm lane and just didn't deny. So I've learned my lesson.
At the same time, like every time I backed Koifa for the denials, like there was one game I backed him and no one went over 15 denies. In the entire game, no one went over 15 denies. And Koifa sat there at 13. The entire game. The game went on for 80 minutes. And there was not more than 13 denies on one person.
They have better things to worry about. We don't.
The full laning phase is fine. Loda will focus and just pull the lane back. Then again, he's facing up against the aggro lane of Escape. So he needs to pull this thing back. And already Synderen, poised to start with. They want to go for the torrent. Loda felt it coming. He didn't see it coming. Not until EGM shows himself, and Yapsor's already make sure that EGM is not able to throttle this lane back. So Loda, defense the whole way. Yeah, and good luck, Koi, for getting denials up against the Timbersaw Welding Death.
The Kunkka is also very good at dealing with the offlaners, or I guess heroes with good escape mechanisms. Like, I think is pretty good at dealing with Faceless Void. Very hard to dispel that X, and also very good at dealing with Dark Zero, though he's typically banned out nowadays.
I'm wondering how long Escape are going to deal with this, because right now Keizu just has to hide. Like, that's a creep wave and a half which you can be pulling back. RK will always win this lane, because obviously sacrifice is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it depends on how much they think they're getting out of their bottom lane. Oh, nice try by EGM. He tried to lift the Wild Wing to aggro the wave, but Escape will be there to deny the pull.
I like how Ira, like, he's there for denies, but the Heartstopper aura is reaching the Faceless Void and slowly force them to burn through consumables.
Yeah, pretty good versus backtrack.
Is that a new set in for the Lich? Was there a Lich Immortal? Honestly, I wasn't really
Yep,
looking.
there was.
Yeah. His Frost Blast actually looks really damn cool. Well, K2, TP out, Frost Blast won't be enough damage. He'll go all the way home.
It is miserable laning versus a Lich.
What are you even meant to do? Like right now, he would go for an Iron Talon, but he went for a PMS to start with. So Iron Talon isn't even an option for him, just to jungle it.
I think he thought he'd be in a one-on-one situation, and they would focus more the Lich Knight onto the mid lane to deny Koikwa.
Look at it now. RK realizes they've already won top lane. So he'll bail out and come down the bottom lane, looking for Synderen. Frost Blast available. Synderen low. No Shallow Grave, and the extra time lock in there for Loda. He helps to find that kill. So we both get to be wrong. The first blood happens just shy of the 3-minute mark.
Bash Lord Loda.
It's also one of those times when Dazzle gets punished for not getting the early Shallow Grave points. But actually, even if he had, he couldn't use it. It was locked down for too long. So they're switching the lanes up. Era moves up to the top lane. And Keizu now has to deal with Lich on the bottom lane. Oh, that's just not nice.
Time to get a quelling.
Like Yapsor. This one's getting rather aggressive. With an X marks the spot plus Torrent, you can really punish S4.
Nah.
But S4 has also gone for the 202 build for the mid lane.
And
so
a poor
he
man.
doesn't care.
Oh, what was that roar for?
I don't know. Misclick?
Maybe, but he didn't use rabbit after.
Bottom lane, Keizu. Oh, again, nice knowing you. You'll get the double crush off, tries to sprint away, so there's less damage done. You'll get back behind the tower, but once again, he has to go back home.
What a nightmare.
So that's a nightmare when you look also at the difference between him and Admiral Bulldog. A 1 for 2 CS at 2 minutes over on Slaughter. Bulldog's found 4.5 levels and 20 CS with 8 denies. Admiral Bulldog though, X marks torrented up. They're going to trigger the dust. They can see him. Ira does not have ultimate. And Yapsor, he's got one more torrent, but Arcade again. Right place, right time. Bulldog drops slow. But now he burns the salve. And he's still got Fairy Fire up his sleeve too. So he would have been fine.
They still do have another X torrent combo, but pretty unlikely to be fruitful with Ake sitting in the back line. He has opted for level 2 sacrifice. I think that's pretty necessary after the sacrifice nerf.
They're just trying to make the most out of that Observer Ward. The problem is for Escape, they're being watched by another Obs. A little bit further up, so they're very much aware of what's going on. And this is why Bulldog is not being too hyper aggressive.
Do you see why he's using these roars?
No.
I am also not sure. Sometimes you see it so you get like 1 or 2 extra CS, but I didn't see him really being in danger of missing creeps.
Oh, X, Torrent, they're gonna go again. 2 buff, off fast with connect, Admiral Bulldog, that's some heavy damage. One more attack, but he goes invis, but it reaches. Before the fade time can kick in, and Admiral Bulldog goes down. That's the first good thing that's really gone the way here of Escape. Every other laning phase has been pretty damn good in favor of Alliance.
Yep, they caught him a brief moment with that Shikuchi. I don't know if Fairy Fire would have saved them in that instance, but it would have been close.
So this at least gives it a little bit more space for Ira. Ira is still shy of level 6. That's something that Bulldog will have to give a lot more respect to once it's up.
You know who's not farming as well as usual is Koikva.
He's still keeping up with S4. The problem is S4 is just harassing him so heavily.
Last time he got a 6-minute minus. This time it's not going to be so fortunate.
He still managed to find the last hits in the mid lane. So that's not too bad, but he can't leave it. The second he leaves, like you saw what S4 did previously, he just went in behind the tower. Like, in that case it was to harass Koikva down.
I'm not sure how many creeps Lich has denied there, but his CS is a little bit lower than normal. Yeah, Timber is destroying him in CS.
I kind of wish like we'd have some kind of read for how many creeps Lich has taken out, as opposed to, because it doesn't count as a denial.
Nope.
Even though now like it gives the experience, like it just seems odd.
The Weaver's farm has been severely hampered after that first death and Yapsor.
That's a little bit of a break there for actually gets the entangle on S4. S4 is dropping very, very low. EGM will come in too. Need a secondary entangle. Savage Roar is available. They're bringing in extra TP support. It's going to be Cinderin with the poison touch. EGM dropping down low. They're going to find this kill. Savage Roar won't be enough. Cinderin, okay, they actually bring S4 to the front lines. He wants Koifa, but another entangle. The Chakram kicks back. Koifa actually walks into the middle of it. The Cinderin wants more. There goes your Chakram again. Koifa able to dodge, staying in range. Where's your entangle? Not gonna happen. S4 able to chain away. Rubik will give his life over.
Wow, that's a great micro by Quick over there. Keeping his bear onto the Timber Saw while dodging like 3 or 4 Chakrams.
It was pretty high. The only one he didn't dodge was the one that was being dragged back in, but he wants to stick around. Bulldog now getting aggressive on Era. Era still not level 6. But he's got the double null talisman as well as treads. That's a very difficult hero to kill when Weaver doesn't have that much damage to work with.
Loda did get the 15 denies, as you said.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Yes,
I love it when I'm right, but we're both wrong about the first blood, so it happens.
Last time I picked Loda, he had like 5 in the free farming lane. I don't know when to trust you, Loda.
it's a lane where he was meant to win it anyway, so makes sense. D-Warning comes out from Alliance. They've really been all over Escape as far as the vision battle goes. So I think this top lane still hasn't borne any real fruit for Escape. They've had a couple of opportunities where maybe it could have worked, but that's being watched too closely.
Yapzor was a ninja though and placed it from the left side, so that they had no idea that he has placed him there. What a ninja.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Obs and Sentry. It's also far enough away from the Radiant Sentry too, so yeah.
So very big difference in terms of XP earned in between Alliance and Escape. Mostly due to the Lich, net worth not as experience. Koikva still trying to work on his Midas, so this is gonna be like a 10-minute Midas almost from him.
Yeah, this is really, really late.
Dire's bottom tower
I still can't believe it's 3k the difference in experience, and 1.5k in net worth. That's after you get a
There's
kill.
Smoke, Loda, and Ake. He does have Chronosphere right now. There is Yapzor sitting immediately behind them, but he's sitting in Interest right now.
Yapzor's in the neighborhood. He's got to stay out that Chrono. Wait for the torrent mark. There it is. X marks the spot. They're going to drag Loda away from Mira. Up and running. Here comes S4 on the Cinder. Shallow Grave has to use it on a stealth Shallow Grave. The ultiest wall from Necro. Not enough to kill off Arcade. And with a Death Pulse, it's still not enough to live. S4, great positioning. Allowing that Shark Drum to get 2 kills. And then he'll go for more. Up to Yapzor. Another X mark. He can chain himself up in just a second. Does he have the right line? Up she goes. Not enough mana for another Chakram, but Yapzor on 26 HP has to keep running. Gonna try and deny himself to the trolls. He'll be successful at doing so. So heroes go down for Escape. Only one of them being denied. Meanwhile, Koifa gets a little bit more space, bringing down the tower. He's already had Midas up now, and up to another 800 gold thanks to the kill of the tower.
Smart play by Alliance. Firstly, they TP'd a hero to the T2 so that S4 would be there to aid very quickly in outputting the damage during Chronosphere. Secondly, the Weaver was off to the left side of the Chronosphere, and it was very important that they had that extra little bit of burst to get down that Weaver very quickly. And thirdly, S4 went on the Dazzle and forced him to graze himself. Maybe Necropose could have TP'd out.
Okay, first hit, no entangle, throws it back. The bear can keep running after this one. There's no amplification available, but there's your entangle on EGM. And well, with the roar, okay, forced back a little bit further. The bear is dropping low. Cinderin already used his heal bomb. Arcade letting the Lich ulti go. They have to themselves up. The bear, okay, doesn't really bounce for that long, but S4's got more than enough damage. Cinderin shallow graving Koifa, maybe a fraction of a second too early, especially when Koifa cannot complete his TP. S4 dominating harder. Loda, Bashlord kicks in. Finds another one, and they protect their bottom tower and get 3 revenge kills very quickly.
Uh-oh, this wasn't part of the formula. Koikva contributing to team fights and dying in the process. He is not on top of the network chart. Not even close.
He's sitting in 3rd position at the moment. 700 behind Loda and almost 1,000 behind S4.
S4's been pretty darn beastly on this Timbersaw.
Bulldog wants to go again. Yapzor sees him. X, Torrent. No real follow-up, just saying hello.
Denied.
Well, of course, EGM can also say hello straight back. He runs up to the top lane. Teaming up with Bulldog. Got a little bit of support behind in the form of Arcade. But if he goes, he gets scouted by the wards. S4's moving to the top lane. Also being scouted out. So, Escape know what they're up against. The question is, do they want to try and fight it? You still don't have the rum. Yapzor needs his ultimate to change these fights. So does Koifa with his Radiance.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's still going to be a while for him.
Well, you do have the amplification available for Slaughter, so that's available now. And his Blink Dagger is still a little bit more delayed. Needs another 1200 before he's going to reach it.
Loda's playing the farm game though. He did go for a Maelstrom build quite early. Admiral Bulldog realizing they have a sentry.
Koifa, that bear, where's your entangle? It doesn't exist. They just run away.
So level 1 grave stolen by Rubik.
Oh, might be a good saving grace.
And they finally have boat up on Yapzor, and the Observer Ward will also be dewarded in Alliance. Gonna have to bail out of that top lane with that any eyes on escape. And they actually TP Loda in, another smoke coming out.
They really want to fight up on top lane.
This is bold without any vision.
Especially when Bulldog just used his time lapse as well. And with their movement, okay, it's not obviously smoke's not gonna break when someone walks directly towards them like Cinderin. That'll be a one way to do it. S4, okay, Cinderin, what do you do? He wants to break more smoke. Lets the weave go. A defensive shallow grave. He's not even going to use it. Just shadow waves. The bear gets left behind, but Loda gets the Chronosphere. Catch that Era, and Yamsor just wants to let the ulti go. The ship will fly in. Will it be enough time to buy Era? No, it doesn't buy Jack. Loda gets himself a double kill as well. And Alliance are steaming forward. Such momentum. They cracked the 3k net worth and over 5k the experience advantage. And we're only 14 minutes in. There's only so much repairing Koipa can do. And with a TP coming in from S4, Keizu could try and amplify him. He won't have enough. Actually, he's got 6 charges. He's got enough mana for amplification as well as Crush.
Escape have not been anticipating the Chronosphere movements very well. That's the second smoke that's really worked out well for them. They have had skin available, but they weren't even prepped to really break the smoke. Cinderin was trying to lay a ward on the high ground, but it already had a sentry there prior to that bite starting.
Keizu off target.
Try to get Blink Dagger.
Try to get the Crush. He just tried to walk himself in.
Yep. They need Radiance, they need Blink Dagger, and getting towers is a good way to start that off.
Oh, where's that amplification? So, I'm surprised Keizu didn't open with that. Instead, because they were still willing to dive back behind the tower.
Help.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird kind of jump. Bottom tower seems to be dead now. Oh, they find an opening. Oh, no they don't. Cinderin thought he did. Then S4 still too big. X marks spot. Torrent ship. They're coming in. The shallow grave was still sold by EGM a long time ago. Allows S4 a little bit more time, but they drop the scythe and remove him for 53 seconds. Also, the steals in this whole series has just been beautiful. EGM currently holding on to the Reaper's scythe.
Nice. It's actually pretty good versus Bear too, if he can manage to get it off. I would Reaper a Bear.
A lot of life to do a lot of damage to.
Yep, it's actually a little bit unexpected too.
Well, there's your weave already, defensive. Loda jumps in, gets himself a 2-man Chronosphere. They want a little bit more help. Keizu, oh that Lich ulti, it's gonna hurt so hard. Era's gonna drop down. There goes your scythe, and well, they tried it on Era. Maybe fraction of a second too early there.
Wow, what a great chrono by Loda there, and the lift into the Chain Frosts. The amount of teamwork from Alliance from these fights.
Their coordination looks good.
Yep. Yes, it does.
All they gotta do is keep it up, and they can have that direct position at TI6. Their gold advantage gain is still growing slightly, even if the gold did take a little bit of a hit. Lone Druid is still doing his thing too, but Koipa, he really, really needs this Radiance. He's 800 gold short of the Relic and then still having to have the recipe, and we're already 17 minutes in. This is when you're expecting him to be already having the Radiance or completing the Radiance.
Yeah, they'll have that pretty soon, as well as a Blink Dagger on Slaughter, so they'll be in fight-ready shape soon. Right now they don't have another threat aside from the Necrophos. So as long as they get the Necrophos and Chrono, they're pretty good. But sooner or later they're going to have that Angry Bear feeding on the supports, and maybe with a lucky root or two they can get a Reaper kill. But as it stands, Alliance with way more damage output in these team fights and some decent farming build coming out from Loda. We see the Maelstrom into Echo Saber. It's a good mix of team fight and farming.
We note again too that Era's going like with that Dagon, any kind of pop, any kind of kill. I'd love to see it.
But he's gonna get Chronoed, and if they miscalculate on the Void, it's not gonna be effective at all. And at the null field on Rubik, who has already started leveling it up. It is level 1 at this point.
We're slowly to getting the damage from ESC. Face's voice now going to amplify his a little bit more, so Echo Saber. Looking for those good time locks. Yabsor's the man that's been charged with defense.
Wow, double energy booster. Usually you see the Aether picked up before the second energy booster. But no big deal for him.
Mid, here comes the push. Escape now. They realize where it's coming. They were smoking to go into the Radiant jungle, expecting Alliance to still be farming. While Alliance actually smoke up themselves and go into Escape's jungle, expecting them to be farming.
Yep,
and because of that, Escape just slipped themselves inside. Done.
Sneaky, cheeky play from Escape.
The Radiant have a ward there, so they know what's going on. But they're
Too
all
late, they've already lost it.
Yep, they're all too late. So there goes the Aegis Immortal into the hands of Era. So have him to fight multiple times. An Invis rune of S4 coming down, but they'll look inside the pit, but there is nothing else. If he chains up, that breaks the Invis. Era realizing he's in trouble. In fact, his teammates have to come back and help him. They've got ship available. The bear doesn't actually have the radiance up just yet. Chronosphere is available. There goes the Aegis Immortal. Keizu, Blink Crush, hitting Bulldog as well as Loda. Not easily bailing out. There's no real amplification. Era caught inside that Chronosphere. Need to keep alive. The shallow grave available from Cinder, and he waited just as long as he possibly could while Bulldog time-lapsed out all the damage that was done. S4 jumps in. Era needs to drop the side. It's going to bring down S4, and Era barely surviving. He's got another deathbolt in 1 second time, and this is the moment for Escape. They can try and turn this fight with a double crush from Keizu. They're finding Loda. He'll time-lapse off his damage here. They're still so low. Escape. They're trying to fight with a torrent. X-Mark's back. Loda forced in again to fight. He's got another time walk. Jumping forward. Gets the bash over on Syndra. Now he's fighting up against Bears as well as the rest of Escape. Unable to win, however. And Keizu, he's on the run. The Blink Crush, EGM. He's got Shadow Wave available, so a little bit of a heal. But that's going to be all. The burst heal, however, I say that's going to be all. X-Mark's Trump will drag him in. They'll find the kill. And Escape. A big, long, drawn-out fight, but they do come out on top.
And finally, Escape get their combo on saving the Necrophos, the grave into the boat, and Bulldog committing very, very deep without a time lapse up, attempting to finish off the Necrophos, but just too much heal and too much mitigation coming out from him, as well as a ton of armor, and that's exactly what Escape needed. And now that they have the Radiance, they should feel pretty good going to team fights. They really lack damage output and survivability, but now Absor, it's gotten its Aether Lens to make those things a lot easier.
Longer range, easier control. And the Necro is able to have progression as well. I'm wondering if Era is considering a Blink Dagger so he can play around Chronosphere, as opposed to what he did previously, where he went for higher levels up in Dagon early on.
Yeah, I think Blink Dagger's a little bit better. He can just rely on Quake to do the damage. They need to be able to kite Alliance. Force Weaver to use time lapse early, take minimal losses during the Chronosphere.
Having Era farming underneath an Observer though can't be a great thing for Escape. But it looks like Alliance are in no desire to fight, especially when Loda gets ripped up on the bottom lane. Another good initiation, and there's no Loda for 50 seconds. That's bottom tier 2 tower. You can't give Escape any kind of window of opportunity, because this lone druid every time will take a building after it. Like, your trade-off is going for the tier 2 tower up on top. S4, good at wave clearance, pretty crap at taking out towers.
He's great at defending though.
Koifa's going further. Like, defense is what they're going to have to do. Fortification was used by Escape. Okay, Syndron is going to be the one to go further. Sees S4 return. Dire Scan realizing where Alliance is as they're retreating out. The smoke maneuver is Era and Yapsol teaming up together. It is the Blink Dagger of Era, but who's he going to find? Admiral Bulldog has the Lincoln Spear. They'll trigger off the dust. The Lich Hold it really good. Yapsol and Era, they can't split up thanks to Frost Blast. Now they will be able to, but the damage output was so high, Admiral Bulldog couldn't get the attack off in time. So Yapsol's TP out will take him to safety, but almost went pear-shaped for Escape.
Yeah, that was close.
But while all this is going on, Koifa, like the man that did not have a good start, is now sitting at 2.8k gold after finishing up Radiance.
Yep, a lot of that was due to the smoke maneuver. That's 4.
3 hits, still no entangle. Obviously, quite not RNG Lord. Gonna Savage Roar as well. 1 attack, still can't, that's 5 in a row, can't get a single root. And he just needed 1, so Keizu could come up behind, amplify and crush.
He needed a root like as the temperature was coming out though.
Oh, Loda. He's behind the lines. He's got a 2-man chrono here. Yabsaw and Syndrome, they'll have to fight underneath the tower, however.
Still looks good. That's our two defensive heroes. And without Necrophos there.
Here comes Bulldog. Charges his way in. They start the X marks the spot. Syndrome gets out of it, however. He's going to turn around and get that Shadow Grave over on Yamsaw, cancelling off the kills. Need to get rid of the Weaver Buzz, which rolls on top of Yamsaw. Can't get out. At least he gets his ship off, even if it is stolen, then instantly returned by EGM. The bear moves forward. The Radiant starts to burn. The Time Walk up at level 4, he does actually have it quickly, but not quick enough. Again, Loader being the man to get sniped out by Escape.
And another bash, another kill. They don't have frost armor for the Faceless Void, maybe relying on that a little bit too much to survive throughout these fights. And now you have difficulty in itemization and defending against Escape's damage. You have a hood on Timbersaw and reactive armor to deal with the mix of damage, but what about the Faceless Void? What about the Weaver? They have the Lincolns blocks, X, Poison Touch, Reaper, Dagon. Pretty decent here, but still doesn't really mitigate the heavy magical damage from the Necrophos Veil, nor the heavy physical coming out from the amplified damage. And the Faceless Void, as we've seen, has had, but in particular, very large issues in surviving these fights. So I think Ake, probably considering maxing Ice Armor, he has picked it up at level 9 for the 3rd point in Ice Armor.
Here they come. Escape, 3-man smoke maneuver. Blink Dagger from Era is currently on cooldown. The best target they have is S4 on the bot lane, as now he shows himself with the Chakram. Do they turn east? Nope, they actually keep going west. They're headed in towards the mid lane. Ake waiting in the tree lines. There is a Radiant Observer Ward there, but now with the movement in from the Kunkka, X marks the spot, and Ake, I'm sorry to say, bro, but I think you are currently dead. While the side that goes to Loader, but it's too early. He's able to stop the damage. Ake is still fighting strong. Keizu can't finish the job. The Ice Armor is so hard for him to get through. The ship from Yamsaw buys a little bit of space here for Escape. It lets Syndrome get out. The Yamsaw, there's no real hope. He starts to TP, but it was very optimistic. Ends up being a 2-for-1 trade-off. Keizu went a long way south to escape out of that. The best fight we've seen, and that's the issue you were talking about. The fact, like, if you don't get your timing right in the Faceless Void,
yeah, you lose the fight.
Yep, exactly what happened.
But they also didn't have the load through there for that fight.
He's finished his AC now, 26 minutes in.
Yep, they're okay because of how farmed Koikba is, and with the dire Slardar able to take down Roche very, very quickly. The Alliance need to set up around the pit right now. EGM perhaps trying to find out any stray warders from Escape, but no wards of his own. They do have a Glimmer Cape complete on EGM. This will be very good versus Necrophos, and will, I guess in his eyes, hope to prevent Loader from getting Reapered over and over again.
That bear is such a pain in the butt. 4 heroes came down here to take care of that. So Era gets all farm time. Oh my god, Medallion up to Syndrome. How long until Roshan? Okay, 10 seconds until potential Roche. We'll find out once that comes up.
Looks like Bulldog really wants his Dezo before this fight starts.
It's kind of a weird TP. Koifa just went from here to his tier 2 tower on bottom. Maybe he didn't want to walk under the obs. That would make sense.
Didn't want a chance of dying before the Roche. This Roche is pretty important to Escape.
They got 1 minute. And then Roshan's up. So Syndrome may just become ward. Until they have Roshan. And it buys time for Alliance to also get some of their items. Admiral Bulldog, still only with the defensive item, picked up the Mithril Hammer, just shy of the 1600 to pick up the rest of the Deso. That Observer sees Keizu perfectly. They do have that Glimmer Cape over on EGM. So another way to negate more of the damage, and also potentially a way to initiate.
And Roche will not be up yet. Escape might have found an opportunity there had Roshan already been up, as for his BOTs were on cooldown for just a few more seconds, and it looks like his cooldown will coincide with the Roshan respawn timer. And Keizu, he might leave the pit right before. Nope.
Yeah, hung around.
Mojo is close by. and I don't think that Alliance have eyes that deep in the Dire River, and they will not be aware of the Roshan that is currently happening.
Yeah, they have eyes in the lane, but the ping just came out, but it's already too late. Like, Roshan is done so quickly from escape. And this is the thing we're flagging during the draft as well, where like Alliance willingly gave them Lone Druid as well as Slaughter, so they knew that this would happen. And Alliance also picked Radiant Sight. They were happy for escape to be over on the Dire and have first pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Radiant pick to do with trying to theory craft something that would make sense, but doesn't make too much.
Well, aggressive weave from Cinderin. Already Alliance trying to back out this one with a bear forward, Blink Crush, he finds Arke. No Frost Armor making life difficult for Keizu, but they know EGM is still sitting inside the tree line. And no kills. Everyone just relaxes.
So now there's the Necrophos with the Aegis. You don't really want to go on him. They saw what happened in that side T2 fight, so I don't think they want that sort of fight to happen again. So in order to counteract that, need to take fights away from the Necrophos. He doesn't have a TP scroll, he does have Blink, but you can play around that. They don't have wards too deep onto the Dire side of the map. No vision in the Secret Shop, no vision in the Dire jungle. However, and also Quikfa without a TP at this moment, although they do not see the bear, so they won't know that. And looks like Alliance with the recently acquired BKB Void may be looking to take a fight.
Question is, where do they get it?
Not Necrophos.
They may not have an opportunity, like a choice.
Nah, you just split push out lanes in case they do. You might lose a T2 in the process, but that's kind of how the game goes versus Lone Druid, and Escape is going to jump Alliance on this corner of the map.
Oh, you can see Keizu. He's looking at Loda. Oh boy. Thought they hung in close, and now the Corridor Spear isolates the slot. Cross to be stolen, Keizu, they're out of range. The ship is on its way in, hits pretty heavily, but with the BKB from Loda, he gets the time lock twice now over on Cinderin. Cinderin with a very premature shallow grave. Yabsor wanting to keep Loda out this fight, pulling it back into the torrent with that side. Loda is now gone. Hero, well, he needs to move away from the bear and move away from any other hero that's now going to trigger off an Aegis Immortal. The X pulling again, Bulldog back into the torrent. He doesn't have his time left available, but the hero can't get out of this one either. He cannot blink, he's got bugs on him. The bear is going to be lost for a second time. There's 90 seconds until there's a resummon as well. So Escape practically losing 4 heroes if we're going to count that bear as the bigger part of the hero of Lone Druid.
Man, Admiral Bulldog's outputting a lot of damage in this fight, dealing twice as much damage as anyone else on the side of Alliance, even more so than a Timber, although I'm not sure if this counts bear damage. But Admiral Bulldog's certainly going to be very high in that aspect. And big misplay by Keizu. He tried to go in for a blind crush, thought he would get at least one of the supports, ended up getting 0. He was too far away from the grave from Cinderin. Yapzor desperately tried to save him with the boat, but again, he was just a little bit too far away from those 2 supports, and that is a squandered Aegis.
It's little flashes to his Faceless Void in game 1.
Yep.
Just a couple of things, but if he can just bring it back, he was able to do that in game number 2.
He's going for the risky play, and instead of the very safe play, which is fighting with vision, having Necrophos out in front for the, because he's a little bit, he's actually much tankier than the Slardar. He's a lot more armor, he doesn't have the sprint.
Alright, so Alliance now, the mech is about to be completed over on Arcade. EGM, they're getting going for a non-maneuverability item, aka no blink, no force, but he has the Ether Lens as well as the Glimmer Cape on himself. S4 is getting bigger and bigger as time goes by too.
Let's see if he can steal the boat, or if he wants to keep the Crush. Looks like he did not even attempt to steal the boat. Crush is pretty good, but it's also not really a place you want to be, like right next to Necrophos, right next to the Lone Druid to be able to get that Sylvan Crush off.
Not unless he's got a lot of friends behind him, or he's already quick on the Glimmer Cape and ESC have no detection. But that's a lot of what ifs. Here comes Escape again.
Very risky with the BKB completed on Kezu, he could die yet again. He's also starting the fight out at 1000 HP, 600 deficit. So he could die very quickly if he doesn't get his spells off at that. He has BKB. I don't know if they can kill him before the BKB, but they will try.
Especially with EGM and Arcade sitting right behind him. They jump. Era going for that side. Florida, Era! They bring him down. 83 seconds on the sideline. They're able to get themselves free of the Chain Frost. EGM, that tether, that X-Mark spot back. That's do enough. Makazu being initiated on by S4. It's an instant trade-off in the buyback. Arriving from Loda. Savage draw. The balance is able to allow Escape to get back out of this one. Barely. However, for the Necro, that's gonna be worth it.
Oh, definitely. EGM did not use his Glimmer Cape. I think that was kind of what Faceless Void was relying on, so that he could pop his BKB and then time walk and then get a kill on the Escape heroes. But without that defensive spell, the telekinesis is not going to be enough to save him.
This now makes it so Escape, again, having more space. It's like Alliance was slowly smothering Escape, and then it just kicks back again with just one good initiation and an expensive buyback out from Loda, slowing down his damage time if that's what he's looking to build into, or if he's considering having more control, either Utility Void or Damage Void. The BKB has now done Admiral Bulldog, so double layers of protection for this boy.
Yeah, Utility Void is kind of hard just because they're going to try and chain stun him before the BKB, so you could go like an HP build, but that's, I think, inferior to relying on your supports to save you. Synderen out in no man's land.
Yeah, he's a long way up. Chronosphere is going to be committed. They should have enough damage, especially when Bulldog hits that hard. X-Mark Spot and Torrent going to be used over on Loda, but there's not enough follow-up, and without Shallow Grave, there isn't that saving grace for Necro to survive longer, even though he is fairly tanky.
Timbersaw closing in on Scepter very soon. They're going to need more BKBs on the Dire side.
Or else they're going to get shredded apart by S4. Keizu's still trying to finish up this BKB of his own. Bottom lane farm is the way to that.
He desperately needs that. He can still survive through Chronosphere if there's a weave out on him, maybe even a medallion so they don't have to use the grave. And of course the ghost ship coming out from Kunkka. I wonder what Kunkka gets after this.
Yeah.
They already have a Vlad's, or else that was just Vlad's on a Kunkka. Maybe Glimmer, I suppose, although that doesn't really save people from Chronosphere unless you're dying from Chain Frost. But I think Timbersaw and Faceless Void and Weaver damage is going to be much more significant in a team fight.
Maybe you actually play the 4-staff game if you really want to like negate Chain Frost or get people out of Chakram.
Yeah, I think 4-staff is the best item here. The Lotus Orb is not terribly great versus the Chronosphere and Timbersaw.
Oh, here comes Alliance. 4-man smoke, Admiral Bulldog front lining. While that bear with double damage stands there. They wait for the opening. Now the smoke's going to break. Absol wants to bail out of this one. He's not going to do it fast enough. Ghost ship stolen. EGM will put him down, and the rest of Escape, they're just looking to retreat. That bear can't be recalled while the bugs are on him. Now we can get rid of it.
Koikba has the right idea. Just show your bear, hide with your hero. The Absol, he needs to sit behind the cores that they might jump on. The Necrophos and the Slardar in particular.
Luckily for Escape, that Roshan is almost the maximum spawn time. So Alliance can't just slip themselves in and grab the Aegis Immortal and then continue to find an objective.
They can set up wards off the back of the Kunkka kill. So it looks like they will get one ward off. Although it looks like Cinder won't be there to immediately take it down unless it gets chronoed.
Well, see how much damage Lotus is capable of doing. Cindering, can he time? Actually, yeah, he'll be able to Shallow Grave himself up. Get away, that bear helping him out. Cindering, however, that Shallow Grave won't last long enough.
And they still have boat. I'm not sure if Escape want to fight into this. It looks like they don't want to give it the roast. They don't know that it hasn't respawned yet, but they have to play like it has.
With a vision, they can get that Dire Observe Ward to the west side of the Roche Pit. It wouldn't be too difficult for Yapso to get next marks to spot.
I think they just walk inside the pit and try and bait it out. I guess they can maybe scout with a lone druid bear, but Alliance also might be unwilling to take a fight because they do not have the chronosphere.
Oh, they jump up. Admiral Bulldog instantly bashed. He went in. Now the ship coming in. Runs on the lines as well as Escape. They come in from both angles. BKB's popped across the board. Casey getting time locked as well as he tries to run himself out to the north. I say try, succeeds. Moving very quickly back past the tier 2. EGM also getting something very useful, which is amplification. If only Roshan was alive. They still have another minute to wait until the big man is on board.
Alliance not devoting enough sentry wards around the pit, a common issue, and they had eyes on him the whole entire time, as well as the sentry already placed at Roche, or at the secret shop, so he kind of walked into a trap there, and that will be another very costly buyback from an Alliance core. And they still need to protect Roche.
And now a Gem and Truth site. It actually moves the last, I believe it's the last. Okay, they put a new one, there's one in mid lane. That's the last Radiant Observer Ward down at the moment. So the only vision they have is of mid lane.
Yep, Skip doing a good job of controlling vision around that pit. They need an Aegis on Necrophos. He is closing in on what it looks like to be an Octarine core.
Yapsol's playing King of the Castle. Okay, Alliance can be sitting here. Guys, can we check the time supports? Can we check the time? When does Roshan come up?
Yeah, without the lone druid there, it's not going to be that... They can't take it that quickly, but he is split pushing the left side, and...
Well, he could TP to the tier 2 tower anyway. He'll get there pretty quickly.
Yeah, but they know
the
that
fact that he forces the TPs back. Actually,
yeah, it doesn't matter. S4 has BOTs.
Yeah. Alright, Roshan's up. Yapsol scattered it out with the torrent. This could be really good bait for Escape if they can just wait. But then again, they may back themselves up now. Timbersaw still not TPing over yet. The creep wave on bottom's pretty close. In fact, here comes the TP from the Timber. The Dire Observer Ward scouts out. They move forward, looking towards Yapsor. Yapsor, defensive torrent as well as ship. Gonna fly up. Roshan, not low enough.
Nice Shivas by Timbersaw, getting that vision in that heavily obscure the area to the right of the Roshan pit without the 8 of Observer Ward.
Escape is giving this up.
Yeah,
they've left.
They don't have Kunka. They lose Necrophos right now. He doesn't have buyback right now. He's actually going for, what, Soul Booster and a Plate Mail? A little bit strange.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Maybe he thought Lotus was a really good idea and then realized it wasn't.
I think he wanted Octarine, but then he's like, oh, I need armor versus the Weaver.
So it ends up being, well, eventually Octarine and Shivas, but Shivas first.
I believe
or casual
so.
plate.
I believe it should be Shivas.
Makes sense?
Yeah. It needs to be able to survive during Chronosphere. We've taken a decent amount of time to tick up. But Timbersaw is also very, very farmed.
Yeah, he's going absolutely ham bottom lane. Synderen, where's your time lock? Ah, there it is. Shallow Grave will not allow freedom. Bulldog gets the last hit in thanks to the extra bug sitting on Synderen. So, no dazzle for 45 seconds means this tier 2 tower, which is already fairly low, will have to be given up by Escape. There's no point defending it. The only thing they may do is fortify it so you get a trade-off on the top lane. And that would just stop Alliance from instantly rotating back over, but they're already pushing it. They battle against the backdoor regen, so Alliance triggered their fortification. But bottom lane, that's deep from S4. And he's got reactive armor charges as well as crap tons of life, so he's got no issue doing what he's doing. Mops up creep waves, takes damage to the tower, keeps the reactive armor up. Nice actual control on S4 with a follow-up crush. He's still got Timber Chain, but now you see how hard it is to get through 3k HP on a Timber.
And now they have the amp that was casted on the bear, although it is about to expire on the Rubik. And still significant T3 tower damage done. Koiva did get the tower on the left side. He hits really hard now. He has Basher and Monkey King bar on his bear. Not particularly sure the Monkey King bar is for. I don't believe they have a solar crest or any sort of evasion. But
maybe he was just worried about the Weaver getting butterfly later on, but that's a long way down the track.
Yeah, still nice for damage, and maybe interrupting like a Timber Chain or something like that would be very useful in team fights.
So is it better damage than getting something like an Abyssal Blade though?
Well, Abyssal Blade doesn't give that much damage anymore.
I suppose he's also going for both, right?
Yeah.
Because he's already got the Basher, so Monkey King bar gives him his damage. He just needs the controls because S4 is currently hunting the bear. Doesn't even turn and help him out. It's Keizu who... Oh, no. He's not losing another gem yet. Savage Roar allows him out, and he'll TP home. Not going to be the 3 gem loss of Game 3.
Yeah, S4 is just bullying everyone around the map right now with his massive defensive capabilities and offensive at this point.
Torrent and shit trying to get rid of that creep wave nice and quick, but the tier 2 tower is already gone. The damage from Alliance is going to be too much. Aegis the Immortal's still got another 2 minutes left on it. So.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Alliance retreat.
Yep, don't think anything happened there, aside from a stolen Death Pulse coming out from EGM. However, not that much longer left on the Aegis, a minute and a half on Loda's Aegis if they want to make use of it, but I don't know, pushing into that high ground is pretty difficult.
They also know they can't keep vision up there, so they can't get a glimpse into the positioning of ESC, so no easy blink Chronosphere. Big item now up for EGM. This guy really is just a walking tank. Aghanim Scepter is now arrived.
Yeah, he's more farmed than Kezu.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Era. Radiant has used Skip.
Well, they're coming up. They find Keizu. They drop him down. There goes your Chronosphere. Amplification against all here by EGM. You'll walk into the edge of the Chronosphere. But now they're slotted down for a full minute.
And the gem.
I almost want to give the gem to like Lone Druid or something. It seems to have a lot of issues on a Slaughter in this game, or just in the offlane with the way Keizu keeps playing it. But it also kind of has to be on him. Like, he's the front roller, he's the guy which will amplify.
You could potentially carry on like Kunkka, I think, because he has Blink Dagger and he has Aether, so he can stay pretty far back, but with a limited range on that, could be pretty difficult. And Sentry and Observer right outside the base are immediately taken down.
Okay, fall from Koitva. Can't actually get itself an entangle. Takes some considerable damage as well from Bulldog, who's walking around with a Hurricane Pike.
There's only like 10 seconds left on the Aegis. They
back up.
Yeah, it's about the same time as the Sword respawn. And will not take that risk.
It's 5 minutes and 13 seconds until Roshan, so it's going to be a fair portion of the spawn time for Roshan.
But Escape feel like they're slowly losing grip on this game. They haven't gotten a Reaper kill in forever. Lone Druid has had his core items for a while, but they weren't able to do significant base damage with the Radiance. Kunkka has gotten picked off multiple times, as has Kezu. They've lost a gem. A lot of things have gone Alliance's way in the past 10 minutes, and Escape needed to do something. Ideally, a Reaper Scythe kill with a Scepter, but because he hasn't gotten a Scepter, they're going to have to deal with buybacks, which are going to be very useful in the hands of a BOT Timber and a time-lapsing Weaver.
Here they come. 5-man smoke, but Koifa was underneath the orbs when it happened. So, Alliance should be aware of the smoke maneuver. As if they keep their eyes peeled. Escape are moving over towards the mid lane. S4 probably the most exposed of them all. And probably also the most tankiest of them all. So the smoke will break. S4 wants to walk up, so they need amplification, they need the crush, they need the control, and with the sight, the damage is still not enough. S4, and they can bring him down. Reaper Scythe was stolen up by Rubik, so careful of his Aghanim's upgrade.
Uh-oh, that is...
Yep.
I think that might be worth Timber's death, depending on how the next fight goes. If they get one on Lone Druid, in particular, because he does not have a cloak or anything like that, or one on Necrophos. Wow, I think that Alliance know that this could be the end of the game if they get a good Reaper off.
They just need some extra help. The Timber's going to respawn up quickly thanks to Bloodstone charges. And there is that force up now over on Yapsor. So Escape have to play really, really good positioning here.
Do they know that he has Reaper? I'm not sure.
They have to know. Like, they have to know, right?
Sometimes it's difficult to communicate. You're like, oh, did I Death Pulse after my Reaper? Generally, the combo is Blink, Veil, Death Pulse, Reaper, so they should know.
S4 is not ready to fight in the mid lane. Both Koifa and S4 are duking it out up on the top lane.
But Koifa is going to be hitting T3s if Alliance don't do anything soon.
S4 is now trying to make his play. Runs in, looking for Cinderin. So he did TP out. Which means Koifa knows he's got a little bit of free time. Tier 3 towers being attacked. Fortification will now trigger from Escape.
Radiant's top tower is
Synderen
under
not
attack.
triggering off the weave just yet, and Koifa,
Radiant's
he is
top
attacking the tier 3, so Fortification out from Alliance as well. The tier 3 tower is toast. The question is, does Alliance want to go for more? Koifa is very apprehensive to force anything else. In fact, with the creep wave, the range creeps at the back here. Oh no, they switched their target. 20 HP on that top tower. Koifa does not overstay his welcome. And S4, in fact, is now bear hunting. And he's gonna get it because the bear gets stuck inside the dark creep wave.
Wow, so with Reaper still up for a good 2.5 minutes and only one bear summon.
EGM. There's a pickup over on the Dazzle.
Yep,
Saul's in the neighborhood, but EGM very quickly away.
And they're almost out of cooldown / lives.
Oh, Yapsaw just lost the vision. Went up the hill, now they go invis again with EGM. What's that X-Mark spot going to go at Bulldog? The entangle, they need Bash as well. Won't happen, Bulldog will timeless at the damage. Chronosphere now over on Keizu, and there's the Soul Insight for the shallow grave from Synderen at the perfect time, cancelling off the ulti. He'll still end up getting the kill on Slaughter, and Synderen will fall as well. But Roshan's not up for another minute and 20 seconds. And Escape are bailing out for the defense. While Koifa trying to force this top lane in as quickly as he possibly can before he comes back. 32 seconds before he can TP.
Synderen, whew, that was a close grave.
Still wasn't enough. Bash is on S4, Koifa. Hey, he really wants to beat the crap out of this Timber Storm. Controlling Timber is a very difficult task. He needs more bashes and entangles than he can really get. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Loda helping to take care of the Max. Bulldog is the primary source of damage here, however, taking out the range, then the melee. There is next Muck spot over on Loda, but Yasuo doesn't really have much of a follow to this one. He tries to wait it out, ends up actually hitting EGM with the torrent. Whereas the bottom lane, which is under siege. 13 seconds until they've got that amplification across from the Slaughter. And in that time, this bottom rank is toast. There's no fortification. The damage is too much. And Alliance have just dealt a crippling blow to Escape.
2 racks down, Roached up, Escape. This is their most desperate hour. They need to get a lot out of this next Roach, and Alliance are parked at the secret shop, not even wanting to take a fight around the Roach pit. They have one smoke left, I believe. Yapsaw, the lone carrier on the Dire side.
Oh, there's a gem up from Lone Druid. He needs a new one. The Observer wards, they need to see if they're being washed inside their base when they go for the smoke. Sentries won't be enough to scout that out.
And this is going to be it. We have all 5 buybacks on the side of Alliance, 0 buybacks on Escape.
Oh, life is definitely going to be hard for Escape. They can't contest Roshan himself. It now belongs to Alliance. That's Aegis Immortal in for EGM. He's still carrying around the cheese, but this is now on our 4th Roshan, so there's another cheese over an Arcade. A lot to work with. Escape need the defense of their life, or else Alliance will dodge the wild card and go directly into the TI main event.
It's very impressive how S4 is able to keep his net worth up with Koifa, who's been farming the majority of the game. But Escape lost a lot of early game momentum, had to get quickly involved in the early tower pushes along with his team instead of split pushing, and that really slowed them down in their early game, on top of the Lich pick from Alliance.
Hero just put up his own Aghanim Scepter before this fight begins.
Jaya's top
Top tier 3 towers being attacked, and in comes Escape. They need to hold them out, they need to buy some space here. Both Hype as well as MKB being completed. The Chronosphere is over on Keizu. He's in trouble. The Shallow Grave will keep him alive for now. Amplification was stolen, so Keizu needs to get this bug off him, but the damage coming in from Bulldog is just so huge that they're able to find the kill. So now 60 seconds without a Slaughter. The top tier 3 tower still being whittled away by that damage to the Weaver. They get through it. Hera still can't find a good target to throw that scythe on. because no one's dropping low. They can't do any level of damage. And ESC, what are you going to do? Wait out here forever? Kuiper already has to go for the resummon on the Baron. Era gets caught out. Again, a good shallow grave arriving from Cinder, and they need to get some space on this Necro, but the space isn't there, and there it is. Good game, well played. Alliance will take the series 3-1, and will go directly into the main event of the International 2016. But it's still big drop to escape. They were able to get themselves all the way through, and Syndrome will be attending another TI.
Yeah, still have a chance of attending the main event through the wild cards, but they have to compete against the 3 other third place winners from the other regions. And Alliance, I think, just showed a lot more depth in this series, and overall in the qualifiers. Escape maybe relying too much on the Lone Druid or the Tinker coming out from Kuiper instead of playing very team-oriented. We talked about Cinderen's slightly limited hero pool.
He's still, like, it's limited because of the way ESC kind of approached the game. And it really is, like, the biggest thing is, like, you build up Kuiper. Like, that's kind of like the underlying thing of almost every single strat that Escape use. Like, build up Kuiper, and then Era will be able to help with that. But the big controller for Keizu, I didn't really feel that in this series.
Yeah, Keizu...
Like Keizu is normally that man that creates the space. He'll let Kuiper blow his entire combination into the middle of a chronosphere, or he'll be getting stun after stun. But Keizu going for the high risk, high reward plays, but there was just no reward when he went for them too.
I think Alliance is a very good matchup against Escape too, because of their experience in approaching the late game in the team fights. So, like, they very rarely grouped up for Chrono, and the prior game that we saw today, this game, he was not able to find the crushes that he needs, even though I thought their lineup synergized very, very well.
And I'm just really impressed with the Alliance. I'm happy to see them at the event. So, hey, El Clasico will be back again. But Alliance, congratulations. They go through 3-1. Also, congratulations to Escape. We'll see them in Seattle, even in the wild card. But I have a lot of confidence they'll be able to pull through that one. And that'll be it for the European region. We wrap that one up. And the qualifiers are almost at a close. Almost, but not quite. There is more Dota coming up, so stay tuned to all the BTS coverage. The hub continues on. We'll see you guys back here for more Dota in a bit.